Hi everybody, it's Miranda with Multiplicity Crafts, and today I'm coming to you with the Not Too Shabby Shop Hop. That does kind of rhyme, which I think is kind of cool. But anyway, we're doing scene building cards today. This is the card I'm going to be making, and this is actually one I made for my daughter's first birthday back in July. And so I thought it turned out so cute with the stamps from Not Too Shabby. And the stamp sets that I used are the two unicorn stamp sets. This first one is called Unicorn Magic. And then the other stamp set I used is called Unicorn Dreamland. Now, please don't judge me. I didn't clean these stamps before I put them back on the backer paper, but you can still kind of see what they look like. I just used a very dark black ink to test them out, and so that's still a little bit stained on there because I didn't clean them. I think we're all guilty of that sometimes, but anyway, so I stamped them onto some what I thought was masking paper. It was actually double-sided adhesive paper. I've used this before to mask with, but it's not really what it's meant for. It's really meant to make stickers with. So it didn't work the greatest, but hey, I made it work in the end. Now you can see here on the left, this little guy, I made him into a carousel horsey unicorn. And the reason I did that was just so it would match the one on the right. I thought the one on the right would be like representing me, and then the left side would be the daddy, and then the one in the middle would be the baby. And that way, I just thought that would be cute for her birthday card. So our little family of 3. And so you can see here I'm using my scissors to pull away this backer paper because I've got mom nails now, you know, the short little stubby nails. At least they're clean, I think. But anyway, I just had to cut them down because they were a little bit long to be around babies. So I sometimes will still wear them long or pop on some false ones if I need them to look nice. But, you know, you do what you got to do, right? So I'm pulling off the backer paper, and on that carousel, I just stuck it straight down, which was an actual mistake that I left in there. But I finally got it off. It was really adhered to the paper though, so I would suggest running it over your hand or skin or your, you know, a cloth or something just to get that extra sticky off of there, because these are like not really meant to be masking, and they're meant to be stickers, and so they do stick really, really well to paper, which is good because that's what they're marketed for. So anyway, after I get all of that pulled off and de-sticky-tized, I guess, I'm going to stick that down. Now, normally people will stamp underneath their masking. I'm doing it a little bit backwards. This could be the lazy way out, but I just did it like this because I wanted to see my layout first rather than try to stamp and then mask. It just seemed like too many steps. You can see here with my pencil, I am just penciling in some little lines. They're just very basic lines to make the horizon and the sunrise. I'm using Crack's Pistachio Distress Oxide ink. You can see where I've laid down the little plastic paper underneath, so I'm actually not getting this on my work surface. There's a plastic sheet underneath my card. So I'm just blending this in with a blender brush and leaving those masks on so I can stamp later. And then once I have my grass done, I'm going to clean up my work surface so I don't make a bigger mess, and use the good old trusty mom t-shirt that's already dirty anyway, with all kinds of baby food and whatnot, and we're good to go. So anyway, I always just like to be comfortable when I'm crafting, so I'm just wearing some old t-shirt anyway. All right, so now we are going to make this sunrise. Now, you can do this with a stencil if you have one, but I didn't have one, so I'm just using painter's tape just to mask off a sunrise. I'm erasing my pencil lines right before I lay down my tape. That way I still visually can see where I need to put the tape, but I'm erasing them so the pencil doesn't get trapped under my distress ink. And so once I have this all masked off, I'm going to make my little sunrise in mustard seed, which is just a yellow ink. You can use any shade or color you want. I just decided to go with classic yellow sunrise, just so it looked real bright and cheery. Now on this first section that's masked off, I'm going to actually put 2 layers of this down, and that's because I want this to be more concentrated than the other layers. And the most satisfying part is, yes, pulling the masking tape away. Love that part. So there's the reveal, and then I'm going to go back over the little smaller sections that weren't yet covered, just with a very, very light coating of the mustard seed color of ink. Once I have that done, I'm going to use a little bit of water just to give the sky a little sparkle and shine, because, you know, every sky needs to be sparkly, right? Especially if we're in this unicorn dreamland. So I used my end of my little mister bottle and just sprayed some little, well, I didn't really spray it. I just like dropped some water onto the card. And you can see there, it added a little bit of texture to the sky. Now here you can see when I'm pulling these masks away that they are actually stickers. They're sticker paper. Note to self, don't use these to mask with. They're for stickers. So yes, I'll be getting some masking paper after this project, but I did get all of that sticky paper off, and the card turned out okay in the end. So once I have these masks pulled away, I'll just show you on a couple here. I'm using scattered straw ink. This is just a really, really light ink. And instead of stamping and then masking, I'm actually just going to try to stamp right in that blank section where I've already masked. This is a little bit challenging. It would be easier with a stamp positioner, but you know, you do what you do, right? So I am inking this little star flower stamp up, and I'm going to stamp that off on some extra scratch paper there, and then just, you know, try to line it up best I can and stamp it in place. Now, you'll notice there's a little bit of a border around it, and that's okay. And I didn't stamp it perfectly straight, and that's okay too. We can fix all of that when we progress. And so I'm going to lay down the little paper that's left of that masking, and that way when I stamp in my little carousel horse, it will mask that, so I won't stamp the horse's little hoof over where it needs to be masked, if that makes sense. So I'm inking this up, and I'm going to stamp, and I'm like, let me stamp this off so it won't be so concentrated of ink. I go to stamp it down, I'm like, wait, where'd my mask go? I can't stamp it right now. My mask is missing. Where'd it go? And I'm looking. So let's do an instant replay. All right, we're inking, and I'm getting my extra piece of paper there, and I saw a little glimpse of the star before I put that paper down, so I know it's there. I'm not going crazy. Stamp off the excess, move the paper, and it's just magically gone. I mean, what happened to it, right? Yeah, you're right. It went with the paper I was stamping off on. So I eventually found it, and all was well. So you can see how I got way off on the stamping here because I didn't want my head in the shot, and I wasn't right over my card, and so my stamping angle was off. But you see how I can just get a coordinating colored pencil and blend that in with ease, I would say. And then also I'm getting another pencil and just adding little sprigs of grass just to disguise any little mistakes or discrepancies in my stamping. And it also adds a nice little texture to your grass. Continuing on with the picked raspberry distress ink, I'm adding a little bit to my little plastic work surface there, and I'm going to add some water, and I'm going to turn this into a watercolor paint. I've got that watered down quite a bit, and I start to paint, and I'm like, that's a little bit too light of a wash, so I'm going to add a little bit more ink to that, give me a little bit more concentrated color. And on this little unicorn's hair, I'm just doing kind of every other strand, and then I go in with the really watered down ink and add the light wash of color. That way it gives it some variance and a little bit more, I don't know, realistic look, even though we're trying to make it look like a cartoon, but you know what I mean. I go in with a coordinating colored pencil. This just happens to be Prismacolor, but you can use whatever brand you have. And I'm just outlining the little curls in her hair to make everything stand out and look really nice. And then I'm going to go in with a horizon and just cover over my pencil marks with some green colored pencil. And on my original card, I did draw in some mountains in the background with kind of like a purple mountain, purple mountain's majesty, you know. But I just decided to go with purple because it complemented the sky, and it'll also cover up the yellow because purple is a darker color. So I hope you enjoyed this card, and remember, this is a giveaway hop, so see all the details in the description box below. Thanks for watching and have a super day.